people. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, and other emergency services were criticized for withholding information about the incident, and much remained unclear about the number of deaths and their nationalities. The then governor of Lagos State, Babatunde Fashola, ordered all church workers away from the scene in order to properly rescue bodies that were trapped in the rubbles. And of course, the government on their side claimed that the church did not get government approval before construction of that particular guest house. Meanwhile, the senior pastor of the church, Prophet T.B. Joshua, of course, linked the whole tragedy to a particular aircraft that flew over the building at a very low altitude, more like hovering over the building consistently up until when the building collapsed. And after the collapse, the aircraft never returned again. And 4 years gone, the case is still inconclusive. We're going to take a footage of how that building went down, and then we'll come and talk about our judiciary system, and also, how long it takes to investigate a case like this one, where lives going to about 200 were lost. We'll take a break.
Security footage, September 12, 2014. A strange aircraft flies low over a building at the Synagogue Church of All Nations multiple times before the incident, and after the incident, the strange aircraft does not return. September 12, 2014. Take note of the upper left-hand corner of the screen. A strange aircraft flies over the building at the Synagogue Church of All Nations before the incident at 11:30 a.m. "13 minutes later, the strange aircraft flies low over the building before the incident, 11:43 a.m. Just 2 minutes later, the strange aircraft returns and flies lower over the building before the incident, 11:45 a.m. Nine minutes later, the strange aircraft returns and again flies low over the building before the incident, 11:54 a.m. This is the moment of the incident.
This is what the building looked like before the September 12 incident occurred. Now, watch the CCTV footage from a different angle, showing a closer view of the building from the second camera.
Footage from another CCTV camera, positioned facing the end of the building, reveals the incident from another closer angle. Take note of the building in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. From this angle, you can see clearly the precise moment of the incident. Take note of the top of the screen, as the CCTV footage, played in slow motion, reveals exactly what happened to the building, frame by frame, during the incident. Look again to what happens to the building during the exact moments of the incident, as the CCTV camera continues to reveal in slow motion each moment of the incident. This is the moment of the incident.
Welcome back. 0802-836-8971 is still the number to use. Now, since this incident happened, the Lagos State government has repeatedly insisted that this case receive trial 4 years down the line. Today makes it exactly 4 years. This is where we still are. Nothing conclusive on this case. There's no development. There's no update really as to which direction, this particular issue is going. Mr. Adurojai, how do you react to this story?
Unfortunately, it's not an isolated incident. Even right now, church buildings are collapsing everywhere. This is a product of corruption, part of the corruption that took place under Fashola's administration. There is no way a building of that magnitude will get constructed without the Lagos State government knowing about it. It's not possible.
Approval.
It's not possible. Okay. So maybe the delay and all that is, if they investigate, whose hand will they find there? Is it not the officials? It's the officials. What's the name of the synagogue? Would not have had the guts to continue building if the Lagos State government says stop. They didn't. And I think the matter is in court now, the corona, whatever it is that we will eventually get to know when they decide, because I've not followed the court case, but it's a very terrible thing. Some people should have been in prison by now, frankly speaking. Especially the members of the Lagos State government that are supposed to monitor and give approval and watch over construction in Lagos. Some of them should have been behind bars by now. But it's corruption. These people will not.
All right, Mr. Obanya, this puts a question on premium or value of human lives, especially in a country like Nigeria. Because a lot of families who are affected in this particular incident, there's something called closure. They'll still be looking for closure on this issue. And it's been 4 years. How long do you have to prolong someone's agony before justice is served, really?
I think recently, I don't know whether it was the Minister of the Attorney General that was saying about 70% of those in Nigerian jail system are waiting trial. I remember hearing directly Minister of Interior saying that people, when they go into jail in Nigeria, they come out as animals. He mentioned it clearly. So if those at the highest level understand the situation of things, then we can now be telling ourselves some fun. We'll just be deceiving ourselves. You see, what I found out in Nigeria, the easiest way to keep a case running or to keep it behind is to put it to the court system. So you say 4 years. There are a lot of folks in different prisons who have been there for the last 10 years, still awaiting trial, for sometimes stealing goods or fowl. Now, our problem is that we don't follow through processes. They are not institutionalized. Now, things have happened about the synagogue issue or otherwise. Follow it squarely and speedily. And that will send a signal to all those who are involved in the processes who didn't do their job, or those who chose to ignore them, or those who are outside and looking and say, if I do similar thing, the
I'll get penalized.
I'll get penalized. So that's why we're just not serious. I doubt whether we have a national building code.
There is.
If there is, it's not functional. For instance, go to public buildings. Anywhere in Nigeria, those who are on a wheelchair, can they access? We don't have it. So if it gives a clear cut view that we are just not a serious people. That it's unfortunate, but that's the truth. Today we see all kinds of markets particularly in the city that we are in. They mark all kinds of red. After a few months, you see the building continue.
Continues, and then they paint over,
what is the issue?
over the markings.
So if somebody has flouted something that is very clear that is going to be injurious, why do you allow him to continue?
Anyway, you said
that the issue, we've got to be very, you see, I want to believe, if I have opportunity, even if you are retired, if you have done something wrong, they bring you out of retirement and throw you to jail and dismiss you and backdate it. Because a lot of what we see in this country today, people carry out all kinds of things when they are in office, thinking that when they leave, no problem, they will collect their pension. But the day a civil servant or a public official knows that even if I sign or approve this bill in 20 years after that, they will bring me out of retirement and throw me into jail and dismiss me, cancel the so-called retirement. Everybody will be very careful. Because that's just the truth. Because buildings are not things you just approve because somebody has found something. You must be, we're just not serious. People could die in the next 10, 20 years.
You said something about closure. See, the problem with our religious people is that there are some things they leave to God. You understand? As far as they are concerned, those people are dead. They died in the house of God. They probably make heaven, end of story. But the government owes the people the responsibility to bring out the culprits in this matter and deal with them. The people that have lost their relations, children, wives, because it happened in the house of God, they are most probably forgotten it. The other churches have collapsed. Is it that I don't get it? Is it that you as a shepherd, right, you think that you will use prayers as iron rods? I don't get it. Maybe one day when we send a pastor and a imam to jail, then they will understand that there are some things that need to be done properly. It's not by prayer.
We do have one in jail. The one that's putting posters everywhere to be president. What's his name? Reverend King.
Oh, that one committed murder. I'm talking about building construction now.
All right.
You just don't.
You recall recently a 100-year-old church in Delta State collapsed too, killing an 11-year-old boy.
What are you doing?
The truth of the matter is, people do not know that government has a vicarious responsibility when a building collapses, particularly where you have been collecting rates
on that
they should
building.
Do some,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Do some tests.
So people begin to take them to court.
Things will not change.
Ask for damages.
Because
you are a co-conspirator in the whole process. You've been collecting rates for one building. You know the building was wrong, or in terms of you didn't approve it, and you're allowed that you're collecting rates.
Then you are liable.
You're liable.
I think the Lagos state government
people need to proceed to court in civil cases and ask for
compensation.
Join the government with it. That is when every official will begin to sit up. Especially if you've done what you should do as, as a patriotic citizen. You know what I mean?
No, what I'm getting at, for example, this is your building. And for one reason or the other,
something happened.
This was not approved or otherwise. And something happened, and you have been paying rates. Anybody outside will not only sue you, will also attach the government to it.
I think Lagos State government is doing something now.
To that level. Okay. Government will understand that it's responsibility alone. It's not about rate. It's not about the easy way out. We did not approve it.
But collecting rates. You are attached to that building. Okay. I think Lagos State government. I don't know how many buildings they are doing integrity tests on now. And maybe somebody are taking them to court. I don't know. As per what you said, they are doing integrity tests on a number of buildings, and it's a welcome development. Whether it's a church, whether it's a mosque, what are you doing in a building, a 100-year-old building, that is not ascertained whether it's structurally strong or not? You think your prayers will hold the roof of the building? I don't understand. I appeal to religious leaders. If you did not get approval for your building, please approach the relevant government authority to check for you.
Okay.
Please.
All right. Okay, I don't know. Before we conclude on this matter, can we talk about the hovering aircraft, though?
Oh, the hovering
Yeah, because
aircraft.
that is a major factor in
you
the
see,
story.
hovering aircraft. Number one, if there was actually an aircraft over that building, there is a body, government body that we know. You can't fly any plane within our airspace without the government knowing about it, right? Number two, I don't know whether it's a witchcraft aircraft. I don't know what kind of excuse that is. Is it did American government or a what's it called, a hostile government send an aircraft to the synagogue building to collapse it? It's just talk, just empty talk. Irrelevancies, excuses for lives wasted. They should not talk about that at all. It's vexatious.
Okay. All right. Our time is fast running. Sheon from Igondo says the government should try to provide jobs for us, especially those of us that don't have money to go to school or further our education. I think that one is still reacting to the suicide story. All right. Our last topic for the day takes us to Tanzania. Tanzania takes hard stance on female lawmakers. The Tanzanian parliament have banned female lawmakers from wearing artificial nails, lashes, short dresses and jeans to the parliament. In short, stop being a woman. That's what the story is telling me, because when you take away nails, lashes and from a woman, I don't know what is left. What's left?
You're even thinking about makeup.
Yes, excessive makeup. Anyways, the Speaker of Parliament, John Ndugai, who made the announcement on Monday, told newsmen he had imposed the ban after Deputy Health Minister Faustin Ndugulile had raised concerns about the health risks posed by fake nails and eyelashes. He said the ban would also apply to visitors to the parliament. Interesting story. Anyways, Mr. Banya.
I'm really taken aback by some of those things. It shows a lack of seriousness. Because let's be honest with ourselves, it's not as if some of us approved them. But we're talking about a parliament. We're not talking about a religious organization. I'm really shocked that the country of Walimu, Nyerere, has descended to this level that they don't have anything serious to talk about. Yes, it is possible. I agree. There are some dressing that are very offensive, particularly to the male folk, because that's the way male folks are
wired. Yeah,
that's the truth. It happened in Lagos State here a few years ago. I don't know under a female chief judge. I don't want to mention her name now. When newly appointed judges, female judges, we are wearing what do you call them? What do people call them? This kind of skirt that's above the knee.
Above the knee skirt?
No, that's almost like
mini skirt.
Thank you very much. Judges in Lagos State there, the lady was very furious. Now if judges were at this level, you can imagine. You see, the truth of the matter, anybody coming to the parliament should show some decorum. Because you are not just Miss A or Mrs. People are looking at you. So your dressing should show clearly that you're a responsible lady. I'm not saying there should be rules, but if you descend below the level where you are winning micro mini, they should call somebody.
They should be cautioned.
That's the point.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense that you are because one of the arguments the speaker made was they were wearing above the knee skirts. And it's not because you are sending the wrong signal to the nation. Particularly young people out there that this is acceptable. For example, it's like saying the Queen of England or Theresa May wearing micro mini. What message is he passing? So, yes, some of us can be conservative, but we should also understand that the parliament bestowed on you a leadership role. It is not what you like at that point. It's like you're a mother. It's not what
responsibility,
you like.
yeah.
But the fact that you must show signs to the other ones beneath you that, hey, this is the way to go. If you don't want to play that role, please step aside.
Okay.
And go wild somewhere else.
So for you, this is not This is not too much.
Number one,
It's not.
To be in some areas, I agree with them. I don't expect a lady parliamentarian to come to the Senate or to the House wearing micro mini. It doesn't make sense. I recall many years ago in Nigeria here, there were some lawmakers who were wearing some things that were unbecoming, and I think the speaker there or the Senate leader there told them, no, henceforth you can't dress like this to the parliament. Because you see, as a parliamentarian, you are somebody that somebody's looking up to. It doesn't mean that the woman should not be nicely
well put together.
Wear something.
Yes.
You can imagine if you were chief executive and you are in a serious business and you see those who are under your staff come with heavy eyelashes and all those, what would you say as a lady? You tell them to clean up because we are doing something. This is not a visual.
Business. Okay.
I have
right.
a different view about this. I think it's an assault on the women folk of Tanzania. Tanzania, we have laws dealing with nudity. If they have not flaunted those laws, it is not in the place of the speaker to tell a woman not to wear nails or not to wear eyelashes. It's not his responsibility. Just a minute.
Wait a minute.
Just a minute. You cannot, excuse me.
No,
they are even thinking. They have gone ahead to say that.
Hold on. A second.
Don't make an impede.
Okay.
For those who wear artificial nails.
Nails, yes.
There are ways they put them on that even those of us who are men will not know. But when it becomes like that
outlandish,
it's only natural that people will feel uncomfortable.
Please, the nails, is it that it disturbs them from talking legislation?
It distracts.
Distracts who?
It can be distracting.
It distracts their constituency.
Their concentration.
Whose concentration?
On national issues.
I think it's frivolous. This is a country that is immersed in corruption. This is a country that is struggling with increasing population. You understand?
They're struggling with a whole lot.
They are struggling with a lot of serious issues. Now, the attention is now turned on the women for how to dress, how not to dress. I think the women organization in Tanzania should go to court because this is absolute nonsense. I have a daughter. You don't tell my daughter not to put on nails because it's representing her constituency. Is something wrong with that speaker? But this is how it begins. They begin to put down women. You can't do. The truth is that what happened in Tanzania is one of the reasons why Africa is still the way we are. Obviously, there are so many Buharis in African countries as head of states. Our own Buhari said, what did he say? He said, women places in the kitchen. The speaker will have said the same thing. Look at the president of Tanzania. He said, women should stop. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
You know, he said women should stop taking contraceptives. That the reason why they stop is because they are lazy. They can't take care of large families. But already there's a policy in place for 4 children per family. You understand? Some leaders in Africa are like Buhari. They are not thinking people. You understand? You have a policy, you cannot follow it. You just come in a public function and begin to dictate policy. What you just think up in your head.
Okay.
It's a shame what is happening in Tanzania. It's a big shame.
I hear you. I also understand where you're coming from, Mr. Obaya. There's a fine line between being decent and being indecent. You understand what I mean? I could have fake nails and it's not repulsive to anybody because it's still within the limits of decency. But there's a way I can wear fake nails and that's the only thing you'll be looking at till the end of the show. You understand what I mean?
I can as well wear a bow tie that is this big and it's the only thing you'll be looking at. I don't like that legislation.
The problem should have been limiting everything. The issue should have been bringing it down to what is acceptable.
Yes.
As against the total ban.
The eyelashes. What does eyelashes go?
As against the total ban.
Is it that it disturbs hearing? The eyelashes women wear. Is it that it disturbs hearing during parliamentary session? It is ridiculous.
Look, let me give an example. In there are some organizations, religious organizations says we don't like females wearing trousers or pants, what they call them.
Yes, trousers.
The reason sometimes is not because when they wear the bigger ones, that, but we know that some women, in quotes, who have figures who they want to enhance by what they wear.
Yeah.
Rather than wear something loose, they wear something very tight.
Yes.
So that the focus of every other folk around is on them.
Who chooses to look?
Wait.
They can look away.
Listen, we are in Africa.
Yes.
Conservatism, whether you like it or not.
It's an African thing.
Our conservatism is limiting our female folk. You are telling them you can't do this, you can't do that, your place in the kitchen. They are more than half of the population. That's what these people are hardworking people. Most of the farmers in this country are women. And you are making legislations against them. This is unfair. How can you do that?
Listen, sir.
I'm happy at least somebody is on the side of the women.
You see,
I'm happy about
the
that.
truth of the matter is, I am not
against.
What I'm not saying, moderation
is the key.
Let the women self-regulate. Let the women dress for themselves. They are not dressing for men. They dress so that they are happy. A woman can say, does not like your tie.
That's true.
Are you going to take it off? It's not fair. We should move ahead. We should move away from all this.
But I think
we are not in the Stone Age.
I think most men think women dress for them. It's very wrong. I'm happy Mr. Femi knows that. A lot of women don't really dress. I said a lot. I'm not saying all. A lot of women don't really dress for men. They dress for themselves. Like, okay, I like the color purple. I could decide to wear purple all week long just to make myself happy. It doesn't mean I want a man to, you understand? So this issue is a controversial one.
It ought not to be, patient. It ought not to be. Respect rights, individual rights. You see, they are doing it to women now in Tanzania.
Okay.
The men are not rising up to support them. One day they will bring a legislation that you should not smile above, your teeth should not show as a man when you are smiling. I'm telling you, anything that is wrong, people should stand up against it.
Let's look at what the viewers are saying. All right, Malam Moshood says, good day. Please, the action taken in Tanzania is appropriate. We need such in Nigeria, especially among teachers. Thank you. All right, so you see, some people actually like it. All right, this other one says, please kindly help me applaud your guests. They are brave men of this nation to listen to. All their comments are on point and out of a genuine mind. Evangelist Osondu from Bagada in Lagos. Thank you for sending that one in. Good afternoon. This one is saying, women dressed women, Oga. I don't know what you're saying. All right, a lot of people are reacting to the synagogue story. Akono Barnabas from Abuja says, please, taking a close look at the collapse of the building is far from structural error. Investigation have to start from National Aviation Authority. Who is the owner of the aircraft? Where did the aircraft fly from? This one says, I feel so much pity for the lost souls in the accident. Pardon me. But I think our so-called government should at least do investigation about that aircraft that went through the synagogue building. Good afternoon. From my observation of the footage shown, it tells me lots of doctoring occurred. 11:45 a.m. and 1:23 p.m. We have issues that should be amended across the board, be it the church or not. Itwa from Ikpaja sent that one in. This one says, I've been hearing this story about the collapse of the synagogue church, but this is my first time of watching it on TV. It makes me feel bad. I pray that God will strengthen the man of God, because this is a critical incident, and they should please tell the government construction to always check the buildings properly. One more before we move on. Honestly, if Nigerian government is serious about fighting corruption, they should also be serious about clubbing the incessant cases of bombing in Nigeria, particularly in the case of the synagogue church, in which scores of people were killed. Instead of showing some elements of sympathy to the church, government are still challenging authorities of the church about the building. I feel Nigerian government should pay compensation to synagogue church for lack of providing adequate security for its members.
Is that why the building collapsed?
All right, this other one is saying that the female lawmakers should stop dressing like prostitutes. I think it is wrong to address a woman in such terms, you know, be it whatever she wears. Even though I want to try and understand where they are coming from, I'm with Mr. Durojaye on this issue.
See,
I think it is wrong for them to put an outright ban. That is my issue.
See,
you can say let's be moderate. Let us be moderate.
Okay.
But put it like totally banning me from wearing jeans or no.
I'm not in Tanzania.
I know.
I want to believe. I want to believe that before that ban was slammed on them, they have been talking to themselves.
Maybe.
And some people just simply refuse.
Maybe.
The nails. They have been talking about women's nails in the parliament. They have been talking
there's
about
nothing
women's
wrong.
eyelashes in the parliament.
Checking someone.
It's ridiculous.
I mean,
ridiculous.
We have a female lawmaker who used to dance a lot on Facebook until she was.
Let me talk about the church, pastored by Pastor Adeboye.
Our time is off.
Oh,
Mr. Durojaye, saved by the bell. Thank you so very much, gentlemen, for coming out today on the show.
Thank you.
Our guest today has been Mr. Femi Durojaye. He's a filmmaker and a social critic. Also, we've had Mr. Felix Obanya, who is a communications expert and a social commentator. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming out.
Thank you for
and thank you to you two viewers for participating. We'll be back tomorrow, Thursday, on the show, God willing, and we'll be looking at relationship and lifestyle issues trending on social media. Join us then.